Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Meena. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you are doing well. Today we are going to talk about a few charts about Bitcoin. So I'm going to get started with the first one. This one is stock to flow model, everybody's favorite. And this was posted by Willem Clemente. And he said this is especially for stock to flow fans. He drew a trend line here, which you can see in the black. And he said, historically speaking, every time Bitcoin stock to flow is deflected from this trend line, Bitcoin price has just mooned. So you see here, it got deflected from this trend line. It just jumped back from here, here, here. And now recently, it just touched this trend line. So are we anticipating moon from here? Please let me know what do you think in the comment section. Alright, moving on. This one is a really interesting one, especially for people who are in US and earning hourly wages. So here is a comparison of US average hourly wages priced in US dollar as well as Bitcoin. So the blue line shows the US hourly wages in USD and the orange one shows the same thing but in Satoshis. So there are two ways to interpret this chart. The first one, the cost of labor is rising in fiat, which you can see it from the blue line, and the price is declining in the orange one, which is Bitcoin. The second point is the wages are not keeping up with the Bitcoin, which you can see from the two lines. So the lesson learned from this are demand the payments in Bitcoin, because this way you can stack your Satoshi. I found this one very interesting, and this is also very related. If you remember, everybody in US got $1,200 stimulus checks. I know it was a little bit back, but if you have saved that $1,200 and invested into different assets, let's say gold, you would have seen 5.2% increase. If you have invested those $1,200 in S&P 500, it will have given you 60% return, which is good. And in NASDAQ, that would have gotten you 76%, but Bitcoin would have made you a return of 491%. That is almost 5x. The next one I want is the news. So Marathon is one of the largest Bitcoin mining company in North America, and they have purchased $120 million worth of Bitcoin miner from Bitmain. And they are going to deploy that, I believe, in Texas or in North America. But by buying $120 million worth of Bitcoin miners, they have increased their mining capacity by 30%. And they are going to get these Bitcoin miners from Bitmain probably in early 2022. So the first quarter of the next year. So even though China is banning Bitcoin mining, you can see North America is picking up. So do you remember Cash App? Because of Bitcoin, Cash App Bitcoin revenue in the second quarter were $2.7 billion. That is 200% increase from 2020 second quarter. Now, why it is important to just hold Bitcoin? I just want to show you something. 53% of the Bitcoin supply hasn't moved in 1+ year. So those are the people who have time in hand. They have seen the price volatility and they are still holding on. So Bitcoin Archive said the next 100 million Bitcoin investors have to fight over diminishing supply. As you know, Bitcoin supply is limited. There are only going to be 21 million Bitcoins. And we have just added 40 million new investors since January of this year. So something that has a fixed supply and the demand is increasing. What do you think gonna happen? Whales or people with the deep pockets gonna buy more, and they are buying every single dip. Now moving on. This is very interesting, and this chart was posted by Azum. And he says, I cannot unsee this. In 1975, gold topped at 1.2 trillion US dollars, and then it corrected 50%, then mooned to $5 trillion. Similarly, in 2021, Bitcoin topped at $1.2 trillion. And as you remember, it corrected 50%. So what do you think going to happen next? Is it going to follow gold and moon? Let me know what do you think in the comments below. If you have stayed this far with me, I want to share a very interesting video of Alex John. He was given 10,000 Bitcoin by Max Kaiser. So do you know what he did with that? For that, you have to watch this small clip. And just remember, that 10,000 Bitcoin would have worth $640 million in April. Let's see what he did with those.
Max Kaiser comes to me and he says, I have 10,000 Bitcoins for you. This is the future. It'll be the new global currency. He's on record. And I'm like drinking wine and eating a fucking steak at night. And I go, okay, great. I lost the laptop. He put the 10,000 on it. Today, what's 10,000 Bitcoins worth? A lot.
10,000 times 50.
$510 million.
Yeah.
$510 million.
You fucking idiot. Find that laptop.
I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like. And just be very careful with your Bitcoin. Keep it safe. And I will see you soon. Happy investing.